Good morning, everyone. So, plus one commerce. Today again we are here for your accounts class. You all know that you are covering accounts syllabus, and till now we have done introduction to accounting, basic accounting terms, accounting equations, right? So here now we are going to start with a very new chapter this week, that is GAAP, Journal Accounting Principles. GAAP stands for GAAP, and it means GAAP stands for Journal Accepted Accounting Principles. So before starting the topic of GAAP, let us first do the learning objectives why we are doing this chapter. So in this chapter, you will be able to learn Journal Accepted Accounting Principles and basic accounting concepts as well as conventions too. So learning objectives are GAAP, introduction, features and classification, then accounting assumptions, concepts and conventions. Moreover, going concern concept, accounting entity concept, money measurement concept, periodicity concept, complete or full disclosure concept, revenue recognition or realization concept, verifiable object concept, matching concept, historical cost concept, accrual concept, dual aspect concept, materiality concept, prudence concept, and the last is timeliness. So these are the various concepts and conventions in which we are going to discuss. Let us first discuss the key new terms, the terminology which we are going to learn in this video. First of all, GAAP, AICPA, ICAI, substance over legal form, accounting principles, AAA, conservatism, and IASB. Okay, let us first go through that. What are accounting principles? So, a general law or rule adopted or professed as a guide to action or settled ground or basis of conduct or practice on which the accounting statements are made are known as accounting principles. Essential features of accounting principles are, first of all, these principles are man-made. So when we talk about the man-made principles, we mean that the principles are based on the experience of man, its experience with the usage of accounting statements, and in this way he formulated few statements which he can use worldwide. So these statements are man-made. Next is objectivity. Accountancy is an interdependent discipline and it is based on certain concepts, principles and assumptions. Maintenance of accurate accounting records is the objective of accountancy. So in order to achieve this objective, certain theoretical assumptions and principles are followed. So in accountancy, there are certain universally accepted rules which are followed in the process of accounting. These are followed since a long time and these have been modified from time to time in order to suit the changing business environment. It is necessary for every student to have a clear understanding of these concepts, assumptions and principles. Accounting principles are also called standards, assumptions, postulates, concepts, conventions or axioms. Accounting principles are broad rules adopted by the accounting professionals as guides for recording and reporting the affairs and activities of a business to the users of accounting. These accounting rules are called generally accepted accounting principles. Accounting assumptions, rule of recording, business transaction, these are also called doctrines and tenets. According to AICPA, that is American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, accounting principles means a general law, a rule adopted or professed as a guide to action, a settled ground or basis of conduct for practice. Now let us first start with accounting assumptions. Basic presumptions taken for granted. There are certain issues which need not be specifically expressed. First we have going concern concept. Going concern means that business will continue for an unforeseeable future, and it is assumed that the period will be indefinite period. So going concern means continuity concept. Business will not run with an intention to close it. So based on this assumption, balance sheet is prepared every year, and it includes assets and liabilities. It includes all the expenses and gains, but it is presumed that business will exist for a long time unless the evidence anything contrary to that business is provided. Continuing operations for foreseeable future, businessman never believe that the business is going to be sold, not even curtailing materially the scale of its operations. So it's a fact that no businessman never thinks that his business will finish, it will stop, it will go in loss. So what is it? It is a going concern concept. So next assumption is consistency. The accounting principles and practices which are followed for recording the financial information must remain consistent for a long period of time. Consistent here means must remain same. They should not change daily, they should not change again and again. Otherwise, they will not give better results. So accounting information we all know is very important. So there should be consistency approach, and in this way only the performance of the organization can be judged properly. So different methods of calculation or recording of events in the accounts are practiced. Once a particular method of calculation is recorded, it has been decided the business enterprise should follow the same method for all subsequent events of the same character. The transactions in a given category must be treated consistently from one accounting period to the next. One accounting period means a period of 1 year. So it refers to consistency over time. That is using the same method again and again, year after year, to bring reliability in the accounting statements. So the next one is accrual concept. Accrual means due but not received. Accrue means due but not received. So here this concept means all incomes you have earned should be recorded in the accounts books whether you have received them or they are not received and will be received in future. Similarly, expenses are recorded when they are actually paid but not at the time when cash settlement takes place. So all the expenses incurred, whether they are paid in cash or are to be paid later, are called outstanding expenses. They are recorded in the books of accounts. So here accrual concept says all the expenses and incomes must be recorded in the books of accounts only when they occur. These are recorded and reported in the financial statements of the periods to which they relate. That is, if you are preparing it for 2019-20, it should be related to 2019 and 20. If it belongs to the previous year 2018-19, then it should be disclosed in the books of account outstanding expenses or accrued incomes. That is due but not paid or due but not received. For example, purchase and sale of goods, services or assets on credit, all expenses or incomes, they are outstanding. Outstanding means due but not paid. Accrued means due but not received. So these were the three accounting assumptions, and now we will start with concepts. Accounting concepts, that is logical considerations and notions which are widely accepted. These are the basic ideas or theories on why and how certain transactions or events should be treated in a particular manner. Okay, let me give you an example. The concept to tie the Rakhi on the right hand of a brother has logic behind it. The right hand is considered as powerful part of the body to protect someone from odd situations. So, what are concepts? These are logical considerations. Every concept so formulated has a reason behind it. So first of all, we will start with business entity concept. Now, a business is a separate independent unit different from its owner. For the purpose of accounting, it is necessary to treat owner and the business separate. All business transactions must be recorded from the viewpoint of the business and from the viewpoint of the businessman also. Legally, all the partners or the owner should be treated separate from the business. They are not actually separate, but for recording, they should be treated separate. Okay, now for example, money invested in the business. If I am the owner of the business, I am investing money. That investment is known as capital. For me, it is investment, but for the businessman, it is investment. But for a business in which he is investing, it is capital. Now, for a business, the owner is a creditor because he is giving him money, a loan provider to whom businessman has to give interest back in the form of profits. Now, businessman collect profits from the business because he has invested money in the business. Okay, another example, goods we bring in the business, we use them for production. So if that stock of goods is used in business, then it is a business expense. But if the owner, if the proprietor of the business takes out some goods for his own use, then it is known as drawings, that is withdrawal of goods for personal use. So why does it happen? Because of business entity concept. So what is it? The business and the businessman are separate from each other. Okay, let me give you an example. You must have heard that there is a case on Lux company, there is a case on Dell company, they are legally sued. So, case is on the company, not the owner. No doubt, owner is to attend the hearings of the case, but the case is on the name of the company, not the owner himself. Next concept is money measurement concept. That is, every transaction of the business should be recorded in the form of money. Any information or transaction which cannot be expressed in money is not recorded. For example, if there is a public appreciation for any social work done by the business, then that appreciation is not recorded in money form. It means it will not be shown in the books of accounts. So all the business transactions are measured and settled in monetary terms. Money is a common denominator. In India, rupee is the legal currency for measurement. For example, a business has 20 chairs, 5 tons of raw material and 3 machines. This information is meaningless. Why? Because it is not expressed in the terms of money. When I express the same information in money form, that is, a firm has chairs worth rupees 6,000, raw materials worth rupees 10,000 and machines worth rupees 60,000, then it becomes meaningful. Therefore, the information which is to be recorded must be recorded in monetary units. Attention should be paid to more transactions which involve money. Now, okay, there are few transactions which cannot be recorded in the form of money, like skill, experience, honesty, employer and employee cordial relations, profit yielding, sales promotion policy, and so on. These cannot be recorded in the books of accounts. So next is accounting period concept. Accounting period means a period of 12 months. A duration of 12 months is known as accounting period. Business, it will continue for a long period. We all know, we have done going concern assumption, that is, business will continue, but it does not mean the results of the business should not be given. It will be of no use to know the financial position for a long time, and it is impossible for a businessman to take corrective actions if he has done something wrong. So all those who are interested in the business, whether they are managers, investors, bank, creditors, customers, so they want to know the performance of the business, but in a proper timing. So the whole life of the business is divided into small parts, and such small parts help in planning out future course of action. To improve their performance, what they do? They record after every 1 year, after every period of 12 months, which is known as accounting period. Normally, it is the financial year, that is from 1st April to 31st March, or from 1st January to 31st December. So now, why this accounting period concept is followed? Because it helps in performance evaluation, tax computation and as well as budgetary control. So next concept is now historical cost concept. Historical cost is the amount paid to acquire an asset or any service. Suppose if there is a machinery purchased for 5,000, so that 5,000 is the historical cost of the machinery. When the entire machinery is used, it will become an expense. The historical cost of acquiring an asset is the cost of purchasing that asset and it is used in a usable form. For example, if furniture was purchased for 8,000 and 5,000 additional was paid for its cartage, then it becomes 13,000. So it will be recorded at 13,000. At the end of the year, a part of it will be treated as expired because it will be depreciated. So historical cost concept consumes that all the amounts related at the time of acquiring the assets should be recorded. The real worth of the asset changes from time to time. For example, though the assets are recorded in the books at cost, in course of time, they become reduced in value on account of depreciation charges. So this is the basic reason why this concept is followed, because value of the assets change and it is not possible to every time for the accountant to record the changed value. So this concept is formulated to record the value at the historical cost, that is the cost at which it is acquired. For example, the market value of fixed assets like land, building, they vary greatly from their cost. We all know these variations are ignored by the accountants because of this historical cost concept. So historical cost means the cost at which assets are purchased. Also, if nothing has been paid for an asset, say goodwill, so it should not be recorded in the books of accounts. Next concept is dual aspect concept. Every business transaction has two aspects to be recorded. So in the previous chapter, assets minus liabilities is equals to capital. So what does a dual aspect concept means? That in every transaction, two sides are involved. One is left side, other is right side, and we are involved with more than one item. Here we have assets, liabilities and proprietor's claim, that is capital of the business. So we can say here that for every debit there has to be corresponding credit in the two accounts. Okay, let me give you an example. Amit starts business with 2 lakh. He brings cash. Now cash is an asset. This will be recorded once in the business as his capital. So in cash there will be a debit because his cash is reduced. So one side it is debit and on the other side it's a credit in the business because it has been added. So we all know this is a balancing equation and it always balances due to the presence of certain expenses and incomes taking place. For example, if capital is 70,000, liabilities are 40,000, then assets would become 1,10,000. So putting them into equation, assets minus liabilities is equals to capital. 1,10,000 minus 40,000 is equals to 70,000. Thus, accounting equation always match with each other. So, next concept is now revenue recognition concept. This concept is also called realization concept, and it should be considered only when the income is actually realized, when you actually received it. So revenue means income. And how do you earn income? By sale of goods, by giving services. So when goods and services are given, revenue is generated. If cash is received and goods are not delivered, then what happens? There is no revenue earned. Revenue may be earned without receiving cash if goods and services are delivered. In that case, it is termed as debtors. So, what I am trying to say here, revenue recognition concept means that revenue is earned in two cases. First of all, suppose if I have made a sales to Ram, then sales of rupees 20,000 is considered as my revenue deducting all cost. But if Ram has not paid me any money and he has become my debtor, even then the amount due from Ram is my revenue because I have to received it. Now it has two parts. First is when the earning process is complete, and second is when objective evidence exists as to the amount of revenue earned. The revenue is earned only when the goods are transferred. It means that profit is accrued. Accrued means due but not received. When property in goods passes to the buyer, that is when sales are effected. Here, the realized value of goods or services sold can be objectively measured in terms of price charged to customers. So, it is recorded at the time when it actually takes place, not at the time when cash is actually received. No anticipated profit should be taken credit of. So profits are recorded only when they are actually received. No anticipated future profits are considered. This concept is not applicable in case of long-term contracts and installment system of purchase and sale, because in that case the time period is very long and accounting period concept is disturbed. Next is matching principle. Matching principle. So what are there? We have expenses. So matching principle says that our expenses should be matched with the revenue and must be paid with the same period, so as we can find out correct profit or loss during the time. It is necessary that incomes earned should be recorded first, then the expenses related to that particular income should be recorded and matched with it. As stated, revenue is realized when benefit is in the terms of goods and services, when these goods and services have been delivered. But expenses are incurred when you received benefit in the terms of goods and services. So in order to find out profits or loss for the period, the revenue earned should be matched with the expenses incurred to earn that revenue during the same period. So here, let me take an example. Suppose at the end of the year, some goods are unsold. business is not able to sold those goods, and the cost of such unsold goods will not be matched with the revenue earned during that year. Then that unsold goods will be taken in the next year, and then they will match with the expenses of next year. Similarly, the total cost of any asset during the year will not match the income earned during the year, because assets have been used for a long time. They will depreciate also. So this is because the assets have a long life and only a part of it has been consumed during the year to earn income. Therefore, depreciation as an expense must match with the income. Okay, another example, say insurance premium. We all pay insurance premium. It is paid for a year, for a quarter, for monthly basis, but its revenue, its benefit will be earned later on. So a perfect matching is not possible in case of recording of accounting data. So it is concluded that immaterial things are not recorded, and all the expenses must match against the total incomes affected by all the accounting heads collectively. So there may be different persons involved in regulating any activity. So this is taken as immaterial if the matching concept is not followed. So matching concept means that all the revenues and expenses must be matching with each other relating to the same period in which they are recorded. So I hope all these concepts are clear to all of you. Still, we are left with few concepts which we'll discuss in tomorrow's lecture. Read the PDF given to you before studying the principles and concepts. For more clarity of the topic, do refer this correlated link and answer the following questions. Define principles. What are the essential features of accounting principles? Explain the fundamental accounting assumptions. What do you mean by accounting concepts? Explain their significance too. So, revise all the concepts discussed here now, and we will discuss the remaining concepts tomorrow. Thank you.